Welcome to Pax Europiana ahead of the EU-NATO summit, and let me talk about Romania and Bulgaria and their policy. We have integrated very good 15 years ago Romania and Bulgaria in the EU and before in NATO. That was really very good, and this is wonderful success story economically, security-wise. But there are some things which we have done wrong and some things which these countries have done wrong, and they have to fix it now. They are both very big friends of Moldova and of Ukraine and Georgia in the EU. That's very good. And in principle, in NATO and EU inclusion of the Eastern Balkans, of the Western Black Sea countries, was a really important strategic decision. And it has been extremely beneficial for Europe now in the crisis and in the war with Russia. We see how important the Black Sea is. And that was very wise. And I'm happy as EDS chairman, I already called for that. I was happy that in my times as SME Secretary General, I called for that and I saw that and it was happening, and I'm very, very happy, and it was really very good. But we have neglected these countries afterwards because of some Russian meddling and our own fears and the financial crisis. And yeah, it was a bad policy of, I don't want to name Merkel specifically, but there was certainly too less money invested in the infrastructure in these countries, because now we see how difficult it is to reach Ukraine. We should have built all the highways and railways and energy networks to connect Moldova and Georgia and Ukraine via Romania, but we didn't. And that was a big strategic mistake of not really putting enough money into Romania, especially, but also Bulgaria in terms of infrastructure. Our big failure. We have not allowed them into the Eurozone. Our big failure. And we should really get Romania into the Eurozone together with Croatia in 2024, Bulgaria as well in 2024. Why to wait? It makes no sense. Schengen and Eurozone have to happen now. Also the Organization of Economic and OECD in Paris. This was a big mistake to wait so long. Now it's anyhow happening, but we have waited too long. And we have been racist, xenophobe, protectionist, and not smart. Strategically, we have lost the way, and the Black Sea is therefore totally unstable because we gave in to Russia, and we have not included Romania and Bulgaria into what they should be a long time in OECD, in Schengen zone, and in, of course, the Eurozone. But we can do it. But now the Romania and Bulgaria, obviously they had issues with corruption, that's true. But we have not built the institutions in Europe to tackle that. But also we cannot leave them without blame. They should do that. But much more worrying is the Russian influence. For example, in Bulgaria, very strong Russian influence. And they have then blocked Macedonia now. And that was very, very big crisis. So we should cut the funding. If they continue to do that, we should cut all the funding to Bulgaria, because they cannot blackmail via the power we gave them as a member. Then they blackmail us by other membership issues on some flimsy, invented, nonsensical points of historic identity. Ask the Austrian and Germans or the Belgians and French or whatever kind of 1,000 Swedes and Danish, what kind of common inheritance they have and what kind of cultural issues, and you can entertain everybody for years with such bullshit, but it's not really meaningful. So Bulgaria has to be allowing the start of the negotiations, and Russia cannot blackmail us via Bulgaria. The same is with Romania and the recognition of Kosovo. That is really very wrong that they have not done it. Because of Transnistria, they told me in Moldova. But, you know, that's all utter nonsense. Because if you know something better than we about Kosovo, then tell us. And if you then somehow mix issues up and think that Putin will be angry, that's ultimately the problem, and then you have a really serious problem. So foreign policy-wise, we should not make any compromises with the Romanians and Bulgarians. We can have some more time to fix some corruption issues. Fine. We have a lot of corruption in Austria as well, as we know now, and we can fix that entirely inside the European Union over time. Sorry, the Georgian flag is falling again. and we can really do that. But what we have to do, and what is very important, is that we have more unity in Europe, and that Bulgaria, Romania are in Schengen, the Eurozone, and also in all institutions and full members, but they have to also behave responsible towards Macedonia, Albania and Kosovo. And of course to Ukraine and Georgia, there they do it. But that then Romanians don't recognize Kosovo is utterly unacceptable, and the Bulgarians blocking Macedonia, North Macedonia, is utterly unacceptable, and we should tell that. It's not possible. We should help them more, we should integrate them more, we should really be more open, but they have to be more reasonable as well, so because it's a political union. We have not invited you to explain us the Western Balkan policy, Romania, Bulgaria. Please, this is utterly unacceptable. And we have, of course, done wrong to you with rejecting you from the Eurozone and from the Schengen, and that's very sorry, and we have to get that right. But now, let's get this done, and let's build a stronger, more united Europe and NATO. Please, Romania, Bulgaria, recognize Kosovo in case of Romania. Bulgaria, please let Macedonia start with the EU negotiations, and also Albania, and let's get them very fast into the European Union, because they are our allies in NATO, and that matters most. And I hope the Americans will intervene very hard against Bucharest and against Bulgaria for their intransigence and their kind of really terrible Western Balkan policy, and that's very much against our interests, and that's utterly unacceptable. And I hope that the Europeans will reward good behavior with Schengen and with Eurozone entry. Thanks a lot. All the best.